Christine from Pack Hacker. In this video, we're taking a look at the Pacsafe V 26-liter anti-theft tour backpack, which I've been testing for 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So this anti-theft backpack is made with post-consumer recycled polyester material coated with a PFC-free DWR, which is a very fancy way of saying it's recycled materials. It's about 28 plastic bottles, they said, and it will keep your stuff dry in a downpour, which I can attest to. Thank you, Mother Nature. Anywho, but that's good to know, right? So I suffered and got wet for you. You're welcome. Now, looking around the bag, we've got some very subtle branding here, and then we have just a couple of attachment loops on either side. I never use them, but I suppose like if you wanted to put a water bottle in the side pocket and like sort of clip it with a carabiner here, it would work really well for that. We have YKK zippers, which work really well, although they are very jangly. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Yeah. Is really jangly whether or not you lock them, and we have a lot of locks to talk about. So we've got a Rhubar Sport locking mechanism here, which basically unlocks and then you pull it out, and then you pull out the front compartment and main compartment zippers, and they can sort of slide apart. So all of this will sort of slow you down, but on a regular basis, I just didn't leave it locked, and it's no big deal, and it's just as noisy either way, whether you lock it or not lock it. So I thought maybe locking it would make it less noisy. No, not so much. This front pocket, oh, you can see I don't even have that engaged. This is a dock lock, so you just sort of slide it in there. Ugh, sometimes these things are harder to use, actually, but that's the whole point, right? Is even though they're hard to use, then it makes it so that it's hard for somebody to get into your stuff. So I do like the fact that you don't have to really use it all if you don't want to. What you can't not have is there is exo mesh slash guard around this whole bag, basically to keep somebody from cutting into it, which is good, but you don't really feel the built-in wire. It's just there, which is kind of great, I think. And then we've got a really nice carry handle up here. It's soft, but it's not too stiff. And then there is also a luggage pass-through back here on the back panel. Now that we're back here, you can see that this back panel has nicely padded, breathable mesh, and so do the undersides of the shoulder straps. They attach with a yoke up here, which I was at first leery about because I've had ones that really dig into your neck. But these ones seem rather flexible, and because the padding doesn't go all the way to the top, they can sort of flex and move around more nicely than some other options. We have Duraflex hardware for sternum strap buckles, the adjusters, hip belt buckles, and so you can see we have a sternum strap. It's like on a slide, like it slides on a piece of webbing, but you can take it off. You can also take off the hip belts, but they're difficult to get off. So basically, if I was going to carry this every day, I would just take them off because they're not my thing, but putting them back on is really hard. So it's not something you want to do willy-nilly, but it's nice to have the support if you need it. So while I didn't necessarily feel the need for such a beefy harness system on a 26-liter bag, I guess it's nice that it is there if you do really weigh this down or you want the extra support. It's there if you want it. And the nice thing is all these straps have strap keepers, so it keeps all the dangling at bay, but you can also obviously take it off, and for most part, I didn't wear it. I actually find it much more comfortable without the sternum strap, because then I think the straps can sort of spread out just enough to make it more comfortable on me. Now, those with broader shoulders did feel it squeezing in a little bit more. It wasn't quite uncomfortable, it was just that more they felt it, as opposed to me, who it seems to fit really rather perfectly around my neck. So it is built a little more for a narrower frame. And aesthetically, I mean, it's a backpack. It's good for business casual, you know, travel, exploring a new city, not for fancy occasions. So if you like having a lot of places to store your gear, you're really gonna love this bag because there are a lot of different pockets. We'll start back here on the shoulder strap where there is a pocket for either like a transit card, a hotel card key, hand sanitizer, anything like that that you just want really easy to access and not have to take off the bag to get at. You can slide them in here and have them right along the shoulder strap. It doesn't lock though, so if you're going to leave the bag at any point, which you can because you can lock these shoulder straps like around a fixed object with this pop and lock. You just you turn it to the unlock, you press, you slide it out, and you can wrap it around something. So, but if you are going to leave it unattended like that, you're gonna wanna take anything valuable out of this pocket and also out of this back pocket, which otherwise is a nice secure spot for like a passport or extra cash, but while you're wearing it, because it doesn't lock, but while you're wearing it, obviously it's going to be up against your back, and so it'll be really hard for anybody to get it. Just keep in mind, if you are going to sort of throw this on the back of a chair and lock it or wander away from it for some reason, you're gonna wanna empty those pockets because they don't lock like everything else does. Now on either side here we have bottle pockets, and they are nice and stretchy. You can see they've got a lot of stretch, so you could put a little bit wider bottles in here, but they also hold like thin things like this Hydro Flask snugly, which is really great. Or like I said, you can lock a handle into place with a carabiner if you wanted. I never did, but you could. Spinning around here to this front pocket, this is basically your quick access pocket. And so in order to do the dock lock, you squeeze like so, and then you open it up. But like I said, like I just, in everyday use, when I wasn't concerned, I just zip it right there, and then it's much easier to access. And I had it like this when I got caught in the rain and nothing got wet. So just something to keep in mind. Inside here we have two mesh slip pockets. I've got my AirPods in there, and then we've got a key leash, which is really great. And then there's a little bit more room in front. It goes like sort of halfway down the front of the bag, so you have a lot of space there. Then in this front compartment, you have even more space because this thing takes up like the whole front of the bag. Oops, sorry for cutting it off there. And it's got like a lot of space, you can see. We have on the front, we have a large zipper mesh pocket where I have a little toiletry bag. And then on the back, we have an RFID blocking pocket with a hook and loop fastener. So it's a great place for your wallet or for your passport to keep it from digital thieves. Got a little pen slot here, and then another slip pocket. These are my eyeglasses. But then I've got a whole tech pouch down here. So you have a lot of space to use in all of these secondary compartments if that is your style. So if you are finding this video helpful, go ahead and take a moment, click like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you content like this to help you travel smarter. Now let's get into the main compartment. And so I have to say, so this is the only zipper that I occasionally had issues with because of this large fabric welt. It would occasionally get stuck on the fabric. Of course it doesn't do it on camera, going around the corners. Now, what I do have to say is it was real easy just to sort of push this back and then open it up, and then I didn't have to deal with that. But if you don't want to, just bear in mind that the fabric is great, and it's there because this is, let's take this water bottle out. You know, the added protection is good because this is where your laptop is. So it's good that, you know, they're really making sure that no moisture is going to get through that zipper, which is awesome. It's just occasionally, you know, you hit a few pain points as you try to get into it. Anywho, back here we have a padded fleece-lined sleeve which can hold up to, this is a 16-inch MacBook Pro 3D printed. It fit my 13-inch one really nicely. Obviously it's a little tighter on a larger laptop, but still, it still fits, it still hits, and it's not hitting the zipper or anything, so that's really great. Then we flip it around here and you will see a mirror image, basically an identical large zipper pocket, same as in the front compartment. And then we just have open space. I've got a packing cube full of clothing here. You can see that's quite a bit of space. The main compartment doesn't open as widely as that front compartment, but I still had no issue like shoving my lunch in here, an extra layer. You know, if you wanted to use this as a personal item bag for the plane, you could definitely put all your work gear and then an outfit or two in here. I mean, maybe a pair of sandals if you really wanted to get crazy and put something there at the bottom, but it definitely will work out really well for that. So if you're looking for something that basically you can use daily, but also take on a trip, and you really like the locking mechanisms, jingling aside, it's a great backpack for that. And then you have those features if you're ever in a situation where you feel it warrants it. Otherwise, they really don't get in your way if you don't need them, which I do like. Again, other than the jingling. It's jingly. You're not sneaking out of anywhere. That's all. So there you have it. The Pacsafe V 26-liter anti-theft tour backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.